Hi, welcome back. I'm Jonah, and today we are going to talk about quite a sensitive topic, and there is a lot of controversy around this specific topic because you can never come to a middle ground when it comes to a topic like this. So, as I said in my previous video, here in this channel, I'm just going to tell what my opinion is based on facts and figures, and I will leave it up to you as audience to decide what is the right and wrong thing. So the title of the video might sound a little misleading, but do stick around till the end of the video to have better clarity on what I am trying to say. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So gender equality is a joke. Why I say this? In the recent days, with a lot of media development, I mean to say, there is a lot of talk about this specific topic of gender equality. So we see men and women talking about gender equality if men and women are treated equally in workplace, if men and women are treated equally at home, if men and women are treated equally in case of equal pay, equal wage, or do we underestimate the power of a woman? Is this, and it is quite common to observe that we often see media and also society saying, oh, women are weaker, men are stronger. Women are supposed to carry themselves out in a certain way, and men are supposed to carry themselves out in a certain way. So, if you see this, I won't say that the victim of gender stereotyping is just women. It is humans in general. Everyone, be it a man or a woman, are facing some sort of stereotype. And why is this stereotype? Oh, they are patriarchal. What is patriarchy based on? History. So historically, how men and women were is how we treat men and women right now in the current society. Is it still relevant is a question to ask for ourselves, but that is how these patriarchal norms are decided. So I thought I will get few facts and present it to you in a more understandable way so that you could decide for yourselves why these norms were. You can be a man or a woman and you can decide this. So back in the day, so I'll be referring my laptop screen here. So back in the day, that is during the prehistoric time, when humans were hunters and gatherers. So in this setup of society, men men's role were usually hunting, tool making, protection, and leadership. Why? This is because back in the day there was no education. Leave back in the day, Let's talk about prehistory in a while, but let's talk about our grandparents, our great grandparents. You'll see that they would have had more children. Your grandparent, your grandfather, or your grandmother would be one among your great grandparents is with five children or six children or more. So, why was this? The reason being there was not much education in the past as to women health, women hygiene, or how to have or how to safely deliver a child. This form of education, this form of awareness was lacking back in the days. So men or women would end up having a lot of children because they don't think about the economic aspect of it. They don't think of the physiological aspect of it, and that's the reason. So when they talk about prehistory, of course, women were having a lot of children back in the days. I mean, people were having a lot of children back in the days. So, and also the delivering process, right? The baby delivering process was not as systematic as it sounds right now. It was done in a non-medical way because people didn't have awareness about the medical stuff back in the days. So the survival rate of the infant and of the mother was pretty low. So even if the mother or the child survives, there was a high chance that the mother or the child could get infected due to something, due to lack of proper techniques, uh, you know, carried out during the delivery of the child process. So the mortality rate of children and women back in the days was high. This was there. So women's roles in prehistoric time was gathering food, processing food, childbearing, and some hunting. Why food processing? Because men used to hunt and bring the food back home, and women used to take care of the children at home. So what women would do is, since they are generally at home, so it began as no way. I mean, no way. So they did it. They were at home, so they did it. That's how it started. And then if we talk about the next period, that is the ancient civilization, that is the Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, men's role was usually political leadership, warfare, public affairs, trade, priesthood was mainly carried out by men. And women's role was domestic management, childbearing, priestesses, some rulers, poets, intellectuals, notably in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome. So, this, why was this disparity? Because, as we saw earlier, from the prehistory time, the hunting men were somewhat had an edge in the leadership part because that's how the previous customs were. So they continued to do the job. And even then, even during this time, if you see, women were also educated in this period of time. But men mainly held higher positions. Uh, then we go into the medieval period, that is from the 5th to 15th century. During this time, men's role was land ownership, warfare, governance, skilled trades, clergy, etc. And women, domestic work, marriage, childbearing, convent life, rarely rulers or saints. So if you see the shift between this ancient civilization to the medieval period, this is where all the you know thing was done. Here is where the patriarchal norms began to set in. Something that started out as somewhat more or less as a need began to become a patriarchal norm that, oh, women stay at home, women do the household chores, men they do the governing job, men do this. And this is that period of time when women were like, oh, anyways you're going to be at home, you're going to do things, you're going to have a child, you're going to get married, so why get educated? Why should women get educated? And this was the time when all this patriarchy began. So then we talk about early modern era from the 16th to 18th century. Men held public offices, military, commerce, education for leadership. Women were educated, but for homemaking, embroidery, for childbearing, limited education, and they were expected to obey their fathers and husbands. So this continuation of patriarchal values, family lineage, and they were prepared for marriage from a young age, from a very young age. As soon as they attained their menarche, they were expected to take up the role of a wife, which is not right, which I don't endorse. I'm just speaking history here, so I am not for it. Okay, and next we are talking about the 19th century, where men were involved in politics, business, professions like military, etc. Women, domestic duties, childbearing, limited paid work. And this 19th century is the period where all the revolution started. The term feminism that we speak of today, all this started out back in the days when women were not allowed to vote in democratic governments, not just democratic, in any government system, they were not allowed to vote. So women back in the day started taking up stand for themselves and made up these women movements to talk for the rights of women. And did men like it? No. And now, the 20th century, uh, military service, industrial work, politics, profession, etc. And women took part in homemaking, professional roles as well. But there were labor shortages during wars, there was feminist movements, and there were a few legal reforms, and there was a slow shift of social attitude towards inclusivity of women in male dominant fields as well. In the contemporary era, that is right now, the era that we are talking about right now. So right now there is a bit of diversity that we see. I won't say 100%. There is much, when we speak historically, there is a big difference from how it has been. Women and men are given equal access to learn, to be educated, to have diverse roles across all sectors, and men, there is an increased participation in caregiving and domestic work. I won't say 100%, but yes, there is more awareness among people that men should also be involved in taking care of the home. It's not just a woman's job. And so as of women are taking up leadership roles. They are, you can see big CEOs of huge companies, women leading into from the front. Politics, there are a lot of women politicians. Sports, science, women are doing an absolutely amazing job. No doubt. I mean, they kept doing it from the past, but now even more noticeably, women are doing it. So we spoke about history all along. So it's already been 12 minutes. I think this is going to be a very long video, but do stick around because this is a very important video. I think everyone out there who has has a rough idea about what it is should listen to this so that they can, you can improve your opinions on what it is. So all this is done. So what more are we talking about? Like, okay, women are getting education, but still there is an underlying question of, are men and women equal? Can men and women do all the job? Can women do all the job that a man does? And can man do all the job that a woman does? So the question is here because if you ask me, I would say the answer is no. One word answer being no. Men can't fit into the shoe of a woman 100%, and a woman can't fit into a shoe of a man 100%. There are a few roles, responsibilities that are somehow genetically or in some sort. There are a few reasons why I say this. I am not just saying it out of the blue. That men and women have an underlying difference between both, and these differences make them unique, and these differences make them complement each other. At the same time, together they can work to their utmost potential. So right now we are going to see what are those differences that between man and a woman, and how these differences make the changes, and how these differences can change our idea on, can women do everything that a man does. So we're going to see what those differences are. So when we talk about humans in general, we talk about, we can categorize humans into 8 categories. We can basically categorize every human, any group of human into these 8 categories. So biologically, psychologically, sociologically, physiologically, cognitive, behavioral, environmental, and spiritual. These are the 8 differences out of between a man and a woman that we can differentiate. Now, there are more, but these are the most common, the broader categorization between a man and a woman. And under these, there are a lot of differences. And that is the reason why we say that man is different from a woman. So now we are going to talk about the biological differences between a man and a woman. Of course, when we talk about biology, there will be a little bit of terms that you might not recollect, might not know. So I'll try to be as detailed as I could, but again, I'll not bore you, so don't worry. So when we talk about chromosomes, we know that a man has an XY chromosome and a woman has an XX chromosome, and the reproductive organs of a man being testes and penis, and of a woman being ovaries, which produces eggs, uterus, and breasts. So hormone wise, men have higher testosterone and androgen. Note this: men have higher testosterone. It is not that men don't have estrogen or progesterone at all. The same applies to women. Women have higher estrogen and progesterone, but there is still a certain percentage of testosterone and androgen present in a woman's body as well, and likewise, vice versa. As of muscle mass, men have greater muscle mass and larger individual muscle fibers. I'm talking biology. You can even cross check this. I will add the citations below in the description. So women generally have less muscle mass and higher body fat percentage, which is again for biological reasons. And men have denser bone structure, women have lesser dense bone structure. They have smaller bones, wider, rounder pelvis for childbirth, whereas men have narrower pelvis. As of body fat, as I already said, lower body fat as of man, and slightly higher in case of a woman. So out of all this, that one thing that we have to see here, like one thing, even I am not from a biology background, so I don't know much about the details of all of this. You see here, men have a slight edge when it comes to physically strenuous tasks because of biological reasons. Not that women can't do. Women, if trained, if given training, can of course be as good or even be better than men. I'm not talking about that, but in a general perspective, let us say there is a man who has never been to the gym, and there's a woman who's never been to the gym, and they weigh the same, and they are expected to lift the same weight. They are expected to lift weights. There is a chance that women could do less, or a man could do more. Same. So yeah, due to the biological reasons, psychological reasons. So this you might relate to psychological reasons. You could relate to it when I talk about it. Women, in general, uh, are have openness to feelings, are higher in agreeableness and warmth, whereas men are higher in assertiveness, openness to ideas, and there is a slight amount of narcissism seen in them. When we talk about empathy and emotionality, women show a higher percentage of empathy, emotional sensitivity, and verbal aggression, whereas men show lower empathy, more physical aggression, and emotional restraint. This is the reason why when you see, this is not always, there are a few exceptional cases. This is not absolute. It's just you'll just see it more in a man than in a woman. When you see like guys having a fight, they would probably beat each other and not have a fight over the mouth. They would go to an extent to hit each other, whereas hitting each other is not very common among females that you see, because men are psychologically more physically aggressive, whereas women show verbal aggression. And as of mental health, women show higher rates of anxiety, depression, and eating disorder, whereas men show higher rates of substance abuse, antisocial, and conduct disorders. When we talk about cognitive style, women are holistic, intuitive, and are able to process verbally better, and men are logical, analytical, and have better spatial reasoning. As a stress response, women try to internalize stress. So they worry a lot, they become anxious a lot, whereas a man externalizes stress. You see him hitting or punching a wall. Not always, again. You might have seen some women externalizing stress, or a man internalizing stress. Research is safe. So externalize stress and seek for more distractive ways. And for memory, women have stronger memory, more vivid emotional memories. They're able to collect emotional memories faster, whereas men have less vivid emotional recall. And women are more verbally aggressive and have better anger control, whereas men are more physically aggressive and have action oriented anger. As a self assessment, more accurate self-assessment in case of women, and they have patient thinking. They are able to tell better about themselves than a man. As of a man, he is more likely to overstimulate abilities and is often seen taking more risks. Consistency: women are great, they have greater emotional variability, which is basically in layman terms mood swings. This is linked to hormonal cycles, and you might have seen it. And as of a man, he has more emotional stability and behavioral consistency. So these are what we see psychologically. As of the physiological difference between a man and a woman, it is pretty much similar to the biological differences, but men, as of fatigue and recovery, men have a greater strength and power and are quite slow in recovery from endurance exercises, whereas women have less muscle fatigue, quicker recovery from endurance exercises. And as of wound healing property, men have faster mucosal wound healing and women have faster dermal wound healing. I'm not sure of what it is. If you want, I will just get more into detail and add a small brief summary of what it is in the description below. So having seen all these differences, having seen what or how women and men were treated differently in the past, we know that there is an underlying difference. There is definitely a difference. Is a man and a woman same? Answer is just a straight up no. But is it beautiful? Yes. That is what makes us as humans beautiful and unique. There is always a categorization, there is always a difference between all of us. Leave man and women. You and your sibling have the difference. And that's what makes every individual unique. And I think a man can't fit into all the roles that a woman does. And a woman can't fit into all the roles that a man does. As much as we want equality, as much as we want women to be represented more or a man to be represented more, what I feel is there needs to be a certain amount of balance between the roles of a man and roles of a woman to ensure a stable, to ensure a healthy society. The percentage of what who contributes more could go high or low depending on any circumstance. For example, let us say you have to move a heavy object. Okay, a man being biologically stronger than a woman can be stronger. And if you're strong enough, if you can handle it, handle it. But let's say you're not able to handle it, ask for help from a man, and he's going to help you. Let us say psychologically, women have better emotional understanding and have better emotional control. So let us say a man needs an emotional help, emotional support. He can reach out to his female colleague or female friend or his partner, his mother, his sister. So this exchange of ideas, exchange of help, exchange of support from one another is what builds and makes the society more beautiful. But do I stand for equal pay? Yes. If a man and a woman is doing the same job with the same efficiency, that is to be noted. If then yes, both should be paid the same. Let us say a man is working more or a woman is working more. Whoever is working more efficiently is, of course, to be paid more, because beyond all this, what makes us human is the differences that we have. We should respect each other, and that is what is required. Nowadays, women are getting educated, women are empowered to do things all by themselves. And yes, but does that mean that they don't need a man? Every female, in my opinion, needs a man to support her. The man and the woman combination is what makes the whole system beautiful. Because when you see the differences, everything that a man doesn't have, a woman has. And everything that a woman doesn't have, a man has. I won't say doesn't have, lacks is what they have. So basically, you complement each other. So when you both come together, when I say when you both, a man and a woman, coming together, working together, would yield the best possible result. And that is what the society needs. That's what the country needs. So when that happens is when we can say we as a country, we as a society have changed, have revolutionized. And yes, that is it. And if you have any comments or if you have any contradicting ideas of what I said, I am so open to hearing it from you because I love to discuss things with people. So do comment your ideas, do comment your opinions down below so that we can discuss in this forum. So yeah, thank you for staying along till this point and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like the video. And yeah, stick around for more informative, more talk, more content and more fun. Bye.